Hello and welcome to this video on how you can use Contrast Protect to provide additional protection to your applications in production over and above what you would get from a web application firewall. We're going to start by having a look at the application in question. It's Pet Clinic. It is a RESTful API and it has a number of known vulnerabilities that have been uncovered using Contrast Assess. We'll have a look at the hosting setup in Microsoft Azure, and then we'll have a go at exploiting the application using a list of payloads that I have. We'll then go on and attempt to exploit the application via the web application firewall to show you what's blocked. And finally, we'll have a look at how we can use Contrast Protect, which is a runtime application self-protection agent, to protect against the more surgical type of attack. And using Contrast Protect will also give us an additional level of attack intelligence that we can use to provide information to our development team to help secure the code. So let's have a look at the setup. So Pet Clinic REST here has a number of different vulnerabilities that have been revealed using the SS product. We can see we've got things like SQL injection, path traversal, XXE, OS command injection, pretty much the most serious types of vulnerability you can have in your application. So we're going to go ahead and try to exploit a few of those. And the application is running in an Azure container instance, and I've protected the application using a web application firewall. So we have the firewall set to prevention mode, which means that the attacks will be blocked. It's enabled, and we're using the WAF tier. And then we're using that with the OWASP free rule set. I haven't turned anything off. Everything's on by default, so I haven't gone in and turned anything off in this instance. So let's go ahead and attack the application. I have Postman set up here with a couple of different endpoints, so I can attack the application directly or via the WAF. So we're going to start by attacking it directly. Let's start with SQL injection. So here is an encoded payload that will give us all the owners within the database. You can see that come through. An attacker might use that to get more attack intelligence, like what tables are there within the database. So I can use a union statement here to go and get all the different tables and columns that are in the database. I can use the path traversal exploit to get out of our current directory and go and get the etc password file. So let's go and do that. I'm going to use command injection here. Similar scenario. I've added an additional command onto this current one, and if I go ahead and send that through, you can see that I get the contents of etc password back as well. Let's try XXE. So similar concept. In this instance, we're trying to include an external document within our XML file, which is specified here. Go and do that, and we get the contents back. And then finally, this is the most kind of advanced type of attack. So insecure deserialization, what we have here is an encoded class. And this doesn't do anything too serious. It basically gets our application to sleep for 10 seconds. So let's try and execute that. And you can see the response here is delayed, which is because the application is currently being put to sleep. And then the response back shows me that my class type that I sent couldn't be cast to the expected class type, but the attack was successful. Okay, so let's try that again via the WAF. So I'm going to flip the environment to use the WAF. Let's try and exploit SQL injection. That's been blocked in this instance. Now my attack payload here isn't encoded particularly exotically. There are various ways to bypass WAFs using different encoding types, but I've just sent a simple type, so this has been blocked and picked up. Let's try and get our tables. As you expect, that's been blocked too. Let's try path traversal. So see if it recognizes we're trying to get to a system file. It does, great. We've got 403 back, so that's been blocked as well. So it's done a good job so far. Let's try command injection. Again, blocked. It's looked at the particular command in here and decided to block it. So that's all great. XXE, I would expect this to be blocked too, but it isn't. As you can see here, we've been able to do a successful XXE attack against this application despite the WAF being in place. And let's try the most advanced type of attack. This is fairly difficult for a WAF to signature this type of attack. Essentially, we've got an included class here. It doesn't know what to do with this data as it flows through it. So let's try and execute that. What you're seeing here is essentially a delay because it's been successful. Eventually the WAF's going to give up on the application server. So it's returned a 502 here, which essentially means bad gateway. So it's given up on the application server, decided that it's down, and told us that the gateway's bad. So that's been a successful attack as well. So let's try and layer on some advanced protection here. So we'll go back into into Contrast, come into the policy, and then protect. And you can see here we've got lots of different types of rules in here that we can use to block different types of attack class entirely, things like XXE, etc. So let's change the mode here, flip this on into block. And we can do this in a development environment, so that's really useful. So you can see how Contrast continues to function. Okay, so that policy has been applied. So let's go back in and retry some of our attack types. So I'm going to change the target here. So we're not attacking via the WAF, we're attacking directly, so the WAF's not going to interfere at all. So let's hit send. And you can see it's been blocked by Contrast. So we've got an attack blocked exception at this point, SQL injection detected. So we've decided to basically show this during the demo, but you could basically keep this data away from the user so that they weren't aware that you were watching, as it were. Let's try to get the system tables. It's blocked. Let's try path traversal. So you can see it's recognized as a path traversal attack, so that's been blocked. Command injection is blocked. XXE is blocked too. So Contrast, because it's inside the application, it's understood that an XXE attack has been detected. It's seen that we're trying to fetch an external file, and it's blocked it in this instance. So that's really useful. And then finally, the most advanced type of attack, insecurity serialization. That's blocked as well. And you can see here, Contrast detected a system command call during deserialization. So it was able to determine that something was happening on a system command and block it at that point. So that's great. So let's have a look at the kind of intelligence that you get within the product about what's happening. So I can see here the attackers that have been attacking this application, the types of attack events that have been tried, and the applications that have been targeted. And I can see what's been blocked, what's been exploited, and what's just a probe as well. So let's come in and have a look at something like SQL injection. So the benefit of Contrast is that not only can you see the attack value, you can also see where it arrived within the application. So we can see it arrived at this particular method, and we can even see the database query that it's got used in. So this sort of intelligence is really useful for the development team. You can feed this back to the development team and help inform them to secure this piece of code in future. In the details tab, you can even see the entire stack trace as well about how you arrived at this particular method. Sometimes it's unclear, especially with inversion of control frameworks and so on. So you can see exactly which methods that this attack flowed through. And at this point, I can decide to apply lots of different types of protection. I might blacklist the IP, I might configure an advanced protection rule, but there's no need in this instance because Contrast has protected this vulnerability from being exploited. Thanks for watching.